I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shelly.
And we're Sisters in Ebert. Welcome back for another Movie Monday.
Whew, it's a heavy one.
It is. What a way to finish up our back to school series.
As a reminder to be a good person.
Uh-huh.
School Ties!
From 1992 with starring Brendan Fraser and a whole heck of a lot of up-and-coming actors that were in this. So we had Brendan Fraser starred as David.
Was this his first?
This was his first after
thing.
Encino Man.
Okay.
And they didn't want to cast him in this because he did Encino Man. Oh. Because they thought he couldn't do it. So this was like the way he proved himself. Yeah, I know. B-phrase, we know. We know you got it. We know you got it.
He has got it.
And I actually heard when he and Adam Sandler got together back a while ago too to discuss, and they did Airheads together, and Adam said, he wanted to give him a chance too because he was like, no, we can get the caveman guy, that's fine, like from Encino Man. He's like Adam Sandler spoke up and got him into that movie too because they didn't want to cast him in that either. So yeah, I know.
Crazy.
He almost got completely blacklisted for his first movie. But yeah. So this is School Ties. We'll call this a summer movies.
We thought it was a summer movies, and then we said it to Dad, and he was like, what movie is that?
Well, and we watched it, and I'm like, I don't think this was a summer.
I had no recollection of it. But parts of it were filmed in our hometown.
We have seen the opening sequence of the movie because certain part, yeah.
So I think what happened was Dad showed
us the clips,
the parts that were our town. Like, look at this. Like it was local news or something.
No, it wasn't even local news. It was just probably on TV, and he was like, this is the movie that they filmed around here.
But so he showed it to us. And said, here's this, and we could recognize the things. And so I think that's where our recollection
I think so, too, because I remember watching that, on our lunch. That's when we'd have summer movies over lunch. Yeah. And we'd watch TV and eat lunch. And
I don't know if we watched the whole thing.
I don't think we watched the whole thing.
It's up in the air. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe we did, but I've seen it as an adult, and I rewatched it for this.
Yeah, I watched it for this, and I was like, oh,
I didn't think.
But I did remember the scene.
Oh, I remember the opening sequence. Yeah, and I even told my kids hey, this was filmed down here. Hey, this. So we'll subject this to our squirrel rating. But even though it's probably just the first 5 minutes.
I was going to say there'll be no squirrels because
there was no time to watch.
There was no time for a squirrel.
Yeah. So if you're new to our channel and you are not privy to our squirrel rating, what it is Shelly and we started this channel based on movies that we A, loved as kids, and B, were forced to watch as kids.
That our father made us watch during
our summer of movies. That's what we called it. Yeah. And it was pretty much the whole summer that my dad worked middle shift, so he was home with us during the day, and we would at lunchtime watch our movies, and he would pick one out every day. Sometimes there would be a double feature.
They were long days.
It would be long days. And it was movies that he liked, that he thought we would enjoy too. And
some we did.
Some we did. A good bit.
I hear a toy.
Yeah. It's a puzzle. I'm sorry.
We're in a children's toy room.
It's a barnyard puzzle. It's our studio /
toy. If you couldn't tell, this high quality studio is just a room in Leslie's house. Are you shocked?
Who knew?
But yeah, so if we didn't like the movie, we were staring at the squirrels out the window.
The room triples as an office sometimes too. So that's
fun fact.
A multi-purpose room. But we would stare out. We were downstairs and we would stare out the glass sliding door to our wooded backyard, where there were many squirrels eating food that my parents would feed them with.
Yeah, the birds eating stuff.
And so we would watch squirrels
instead, just to take our eyes off.
If we were bored or if it was too risque or awkward. Yeah. To watch with your parents. Yeah.
So if it has a high squirrel rating, that means we were staring at squirrels and we didn't like the movie.
Or we were just uncomfortable by the movie.
Yes.
And if it's a low squirrel rating, that means we really liked it.
We were tuned into the TV.
This will be subject to a semi-squirrel rating.
Sort of.
Ish. So the movie opens up to Bethlehem steel stacks. Yeah, like which I mean, not the restaurant steel stacks if you're around the area, but it's the steel stacks from the mill.
Literally.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
It's supposed to take place in Scranton. This part.
Yes, but they filmed it in the Lehigh Valley.
Somewhere in Scranton though. Something was done in Scranton.
I think I have it written down later on. Yeah. So the church bells with Brendan Fraser driving through various Bethlehem South Side. Supposedly it wasn't really him driving. And
well, they faked it well.
Yeah, and Northampton, which is also part of Lehigh Valley, including the Roxy movie theater, which is still open today. It's like an old school movie theater that's been around since the 20s or something like that. A long time.
It's an old theater.
Yeah, showing Rebel Without a Cause and singing Ain't That a Shame. So, yeah, he was pretending to drive, but I don't think the actors were actually in the area.
Yeah,
it was just they filmed, So, like, he's in the car driving, but it's, it's studio driving. Yeah. So his name is revealed as David. He stops at a luncheonette full of greasers in the 1950s on his way to Massachusetts for a prep high school and challenged to fight due to being Jewish. So they didn't in this luncheonette. Yeah. So he's like getting called out by one of the other local kids, like, even though they were both local kids.
Yeah, it was like a
gang kind of.
Yeah.
The greasers were kind of a gang. Yeah. It was kind of rough.
Yeah.
And he stops to pick up his dad from work at the steel mill with a black eye from the fight. The school is...
Just as he's about to leave for this fancy school.
Like literally getting on a train or whatever. Or bus.
Yeah,
and his school is... his dad's reminding him the school is the pipeline for Harvard, and he has a scholarship, and he admonishes David for fighting and advises him to fit in and that no one up there needs to know he's Jewish. So, because it's like...
hush, hush.
Yeah. And not really welcomed at that school.
No.
He catches the bus tearfully after saying goodbye to family. Now, David is going up on a football scholarship. So that's why he is picked. And that's why they That's why they don't care that he's Jewish, because he can play football.
Yeah, they're kind of like, we can just keep that hush. Like, the football coach is like, whatever.
Keep it on the DL. Yeah, nobody needs to know. Yeah.
Which I don't think I realized how much of a
taboo that was.
Yeah, I didn't... We weren't taught that in school.
No, and
once you get past the Holocaust, it's kind of like, okay.
And if you think about the 50s was pretty still close to that time.
Yeah,
period.
That's true.
So, I mean, I think it was still fresh-ish, and that was during the whole civil rights thing, too. So, like, it was different then.
There's a lot of upheaval.
A lot going on, yeah. So, so, like, by the time we were in school and... in the 90s, it wasn't a thing.
I feel like it got glossed over in history books.
In fact, I was really jealous because, I remember at Christmas time, we'd have to watch these, same, Christmas movies every year, every grade. Mm-hmm. And the one girl in my class was Jewish, and so she got to pick a movie that she wanted to watch. And, that she would... And she got to pick 3 kids to watch it with her.
Oh, she didn't pick you.
No, I never got picked. And I was like, I didn't want to watch the same stinking movie over and over again. I wanted to watch what she picked. So I was very jealous.
Her ancestors went through a lot, so she could pick that out, and you're so jealous.
My husband's ancestors did too, but yes. So I know. He's saying tearful goodbyes to his family, and he leaves. His family does seem supportive of him, And
they're like, "This is your big chance to get out of this little town, get out of the steel industry,
make something of yourself. Yes. Like you could be a potential Ivy League, scholar.
Yeah, it's his only way he's going to be able to afford it.
Because they can't afford it. So he arrives in Boston and is picked up by the coach, who noticed his leather jacket is. I noticed his leather jacket is accidentally NHS. Northampton color, it's black and orange. It's our school colors, which is they filmed in Northampton, but it's it's just he's supposed to be from scratch. Yeah, they didn't do that on purpose, but I was like, oh, that's fine. So he arrives at St. Matthew's Academy on a football scholarship. He's here for just his senior year, and most come for all 4 years. So this is a really unusual situation. Yeah. Kids will be curious about him. The coach advises him to play his cards close to his chest and not to share too much personal information. Mm-hmm. So he arrives in move-in day for all students. He meets the big men on campus, including Chris Reese, who's his roommate, which is Chris O'Donnell, right?
I'm terrible with
I think.
who is who. Yes.
And Matt Damon informs Dave that he's the first ringer St. Matt's ever brought in, and half-heartedly backtracks, saying it's a compliment. So he's a little jealous right off the bat because they're all football players.
Yeah.
David reveals that even in Scranton, he reveals that even in Scranton, they can tell who is a jerk. Like, so it's tense right off the bat.
Yes.
Matt Damon's salty that David's playing quarterback.
Because he was the quarterback.
Yeah. And David was brought in as a ringer because the alumni are mad that the school keeps losing 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. Which I'd be mad too. Like, it's my senior year. It's my last chance. And I get pulled from my position.
Yeah, I know. Because some alumni who are donating money.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So all the boys and David attend the morning church service. It's like a morning mass.
Yeah, like they're required to go to this.
So that's got to be awkward.
And he doesn't know anything. To do. Like, when to kneel, when to stand, when to do
the amens.
And like they're saying like prayers and he's just not mouthing it. He's just there like looking around like, oh, what do I do?
In the first class, the honor code is discussed and is extremely valued. It's at the church service that the honor code is discussed and is extremely valued. I put foreshadowing ? It's the school's 193rd year in existence. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In the 50s. That's
there's a lot of heritage here.
As old as America.
Day one. Let's establish St. Matthew's.
So the football players are dancing in the dorm, and several boys are making Jewish slurs, and David stays silent.
Very slurry.
Yeah, very slurry. Like, why? Why is this the thing right now?
They watched it, I got uncomfortable.
I know, me too.
I'm not even there.
Yeah, I know. The resident assistant is upset that the boys are playing African American music, and David makes a Tarzan call and would later go on to use for George in the live in the jungle as a man named George.
Yes, I heard it. I was like, it's the exact same noise
as George in the jungle.
But it's like then all the guys respect him. They're like, oh my gosh,
because he stood up to the RA and for the music and everything.
Yeah, and they're like, yes, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, this guy's cool. So David is in with the players now. They're going to shower before bed and takes off his Star of David chain and he has it around his neck, and he takes it off and hides it in his dresser drawer, like underneath some like underwear or something or t-shirts.
They're like, hurry up, we gotta shower before it lights out. And he's like, well, I'm gonna slip this off.
I don't need anybody seeing it because it's a big mass shower. It's not like stalls.
There ain't no privacy.
Even though it's the dorm, like I could see that in like the locker room maybe, but like.
But again, it was different.
A different time, yeah. It was just mass showers, on the wall. So the next day, the classes start in the pouring rain. The teacher is upset with music and teaching them in French. He's teaching French class, I think, right?
Yeah, they're in French class, and it's all French.
Yeah.
Like he's just like...
Well, it's year 4, so that probably would be. Like if they were...
Intense.
I know. Like I remember Spanish 4 in high school. It was all in Spanish.
Ours was supposed to be. I don't think it all was. There's a lot of slacking off going on.
Wiggle room. The first football practice occurs, and Matt Damon is still salty about not being quarterback. I didn't catch his name yet at this point, and makes fun of David when it's revealed that he has to work.
Charlie, isn't it? Charlie.
I think so. I get it later on. When it's revealed that he has to work in the cafeteria as part of his scholarship. And he's on the phone and with his dad. David's on the phone with his dad, and he still wants David to go to temple at school, but also not draw attention to being Jewish. I put question mark because like, where's he going to go to temple that's on campus? Like he's going to have to leave campus.
One on campus.
And it didn't seem like a super big town that St. Matt's was in, too. So, like, where is he going to find a temple? I mean, there probably was one, but, like...
It's probably not the right thing, but I would just lie to my dad and been like, yeah, I've been going.
Yeah, I probably would, too.
For this short time.
And which he kind of did, too. He was like, So, the first football game was won as David excels. He's able to... do something. Nobody out of this group of actors apparently knew how to play football either. Like they knew basics, but like not like intricate. So it was like kind of like tough shots.
Yeah, one of the things I did see that Matt Damon, I think it's Charlie. His number was 42,
Uh-huh.
and David's is 21 because he's supposed to be half the man that Charlie
Oh,
is. Like, it's
I
like
like that. I didn't know
Uh-huh.
that. That's a good fact. Yeah. That's interesting,
yeah,
too.
a little deeper.
Yeah, so the headmaster sees the lights on in the church that night after like the football game and everything's over, and finds David praying late at night. It's due to it being Rosh Hashanah, and asks David if it's worth breaking tradition to win a football game. And David wants to know his tradition, like no Jews being allowed at St. Matthew's. Or if it's his playing football. Wait, what? For his playing football despite it being Rosh Hashanah. Like, they're, like, questioning each other. Like, they're kind of both dancing around it. Because, like, the headmaster doesn't seem thrilled that he's there.
Yeah.
Like, at St. Matthew's at all. Not that he's at the church
but he
afterwards.
knows.
Yeah. Why he was brought in.
Mm-hmm.
And he is questioning, like, okay, so David's praying and recognizing it's Rosh Hashanah, but he's still playing football. Like, you're not supposed to be active during,
right.
you know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a Sabbath.
Yeah.
Like it's,
yeah.
it's
So
solemn time.
they're kind of just both dancing around and challenging each other.
Yeah.
So the boys all in the showers and are very anti-Jewish and discussing various family pressures getting into specific Ivy League colleges for some of them. Like, they have to continue their family tradition of attending either Harvard or Yale or wherever their family went. Yeah. David asked Matt Damon, Dylan. I think that's his last name, though.
I think it's Charlie Dillon.
Charlie Dillon, yeah, because the brother shows up later on. If he'd be able, they're calling each other by their last names a lot, too.
Yeah, that's true.
If he'd be able to know a Jew if he saw one. And Dylan says he'd know one just by looking at him with several slurs.
Yeah. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like David knows, like, he's challenging him.
Yeah, and he's looking at him like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why are you? Of course I would. Duh. So the boys are all headed to a co-ed dance at the girls' school that's nearby. The girls' school teachers are putting balloons between dancing couples to make room for the Holy Ghost.
I was like, that's such a good idea, though. Like, you're too close.
Yeah.
It's between you.
It is, yeah. Dylan is dancing with Sally Wheeler, and David is instantly infatuated with her. And she also it's the girl who played Allison in Crybaby. Like that Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah.
I recognized her right away. I'm like, where do I know you from? Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's a girl who played Allison in Crybaby. So Sally notices David dancing too and wants Dylan, who tells everybody that Sally's his girlfriend. Yeah. To introduce her, but is infatuated with David, who asks her to dance.
It's like she's like,
yeah. She's like, you should really introduce me to him. Like, you know, like, girl, you ballsy, girl. I said, David asked her to dance to George McFly and Lorraine Baines McFly's song Earth Angel.
Earth Angel, Earth Angel.
But it wasn't Chuck Berry's cousin, Marvin Berry, playing it. So.
Back to the Future reference.
You guys, I'm sure we'll hit that later.
Oh, yeah.
I love Back to the Future. Who doesn't? So, yeah, it was to Earth Angel. I said, ain't no one choosing Matt Damon over Brendan Fraser. in my commentary.
Yeah.
Matt Damon's like this tall. Brendan Fraser's like that tall. I mean,
and like the privilege
yes,
alone, the personality.
Yeah. The sassiness of Matt Damon in this one too is probably not his real life. But
I hope it's not
better
his
not
life.
But yeah, he was a little sassy pants. So McGivern is struggling in front. One of the players, I'm just finding names and I don't remember who's who, is struggling in French with the mean teacher wearing the bow tie. He reminds me of the guy from what's that Ronnie Dangerfield movie we watched with the school?
Back to School.
Back to School. Like the snobby professor.
Oh yeah.
Like, he kind of reminds me of that guy.
Yeah, it was the type.
Yeah. So,
it is easy to forget that this is a high school.
Yes.
Like, it seems very collegiate.
And it seems like a collegiate too, because they're living in dorms and you know, stuff like that. So they are kind of forced a little bit to grow up quicker.
And then all of a sudden you'll see like a 13-year-old on the campus and it's like, oh yeah, there are younger kids too.
Yeah. So when my son who's 6 saw like I was watching this movie and he was kind of like on playing like games and stuff, and he saw the teacher with the bow tie, the French teacher. He says that he looks like young Pee Wee Herman. He was probably older.
What
than
a
Pee Wee
compliment.
Herman.
Yeah.
But oh no, he was pretty young, that teacher in this one.
Yeah, he wasn't old.
He said he was like, he looks like young Pee Wee Herman. And I was like, I don't think so, but sure.
It's a bow tie. You know?
Yeah, the bow tie does it. So the teacher pushes McGivern too hard, and he's pressured to go to Princeton by his family, and McGivern walks out completely, like in the middle of exam, I think.
Yeah, I think it's something major, and he just can't.
He breaks down and walks out.
He's gone.
So David, that's last we kind of see from him for a while. David gets a phone call from Sally, who invites him to meet her at a diner, and McGivern is still missing since French class. So we cut to McGivern walking around alone, continually speaking French.
He's having a breakdown. He's having a little minty bee.
And is now alone in the French classroom, still giving a French soliloquy in French.
Yeah, just like repeating it. Or like he worked so hard to memorize.
Yeah, and he choked when he was trying to do it, but he got it, Boys find McGivern and they get help, and David confronts the French teacher in anger. Mm-hmm. Because he pushed him too hard.
Oh my gosh! Like you can obviously see, like he's trying.
This kid tried his best, and he obviously knows it.
And he was like alienating him, like coming specifically at
for him, and trying to punch him down or whatever
to make him feel stupid.
Yep, in front of his classmates and teammates. So Dylan, who is Matt Damon, explains that David can't confront a teacher like that, and informs David that McGivern won't be back. David thought nervous breakdowns only happen to 40-year-old women. I put eye roll as I'm approaching. That was my eye roll because I'm approaching that age. And Dylan envies David because if he doesn't get into Ivy League, he'll just do something else, and there's no family pressure for wealth connections. I was like, what a condescending little, You could too, Dylan. The football boys mess with the French teacher at night, and they send out several young decoys all dressed like him, but put his car in the French classroom somehow.
I'm still baffled by that.
I don't know how they would have possibly done
That's quite
that.
a prank.
Yes.
Uncle Jesse level prank.
But Jesse put his on the roof. Not in his class. Yeah. David meets Sally at the diner, and both are infatuated. All are at the next football game against St. Luke's, and David, they're playing a hospital. No, that's one of our local hospital. And David meets Sally's parents briefly, who are high class tailgating and invited to dinner that evening. Dylan's brother is inducted into the school's Hall of Fame as the youngest member ever. He had just graduated 4 years before or something.
So of course, Mr. Matt Damon is again feeling
horrible
about himself. So he lost his spot on the team. Now his big brother is in the Hall of Fame
as the youngest member ever inducted,
and he's just the forgotten.
So Dylan pressures David to play to him as his father's watching at this game because he's there with the brother, and Dylan chokes. There's a male cheer squad too. Did you notice that? On the side of there's no, because it's all guys school. Yeah. But there's a male cheer squad.
That's funny.
Yeah, and he keeps choking. Every time Brendan Fraser plays to him, when David plays to him, he's not catching passes. He's fumbling.
Dude, you're not good enough. Sorry.
No. So finally, I think David stops playing to him. Right?
Yeah. He plays to me.
So
they do win.
You
should have passed it to me. It's
dude, I gave you 2 other chances.
Yeah, he's trying.
Yeah. At dinner that night that David was invited to, he's with the Dylans and the Wheelers. Matt Damon is overlooked again by his father. And David dances with Sally as Dylan is encouraged by his father to keep they should be playing to him or whatever it was. Yeah, there was some kind of back and forth between him and his father. David was he encouraged to go after Sally? I forget what. I don't know. I didn't take a good
something
note
like
here.
his dad's trying to give him advice.
Yeah, about something, but
like,
it wasn't what he wanted to hear.
Yeah,
and it like he's acknowledging that he's not the like his dad's kind of acknowledging that he's not the player his brother
and
was.
he's not going to be good enough.
Yeah,
basically.
essentially.
Yeah.
So David dances with Sally, and he's trying to balance friendship with Dylan and liking Sally and being more successful in football than Dylan. So like it's kind of it's very tense between the two of them. Dylan finds out at the bar at this restaurant or country club that they're at that David is Jewish, and he was brought in. He knew he was a ringer, but he didn't know that he was Jewish.
Yeah, he was like, what?
Because the guys are like, the alumni are like going back and forth about how it's a good thing we overlooked that, you know?
Yeah, like they're fine enough to, because they're winning games.
They're winning
now.
games,
They're
yeah.
like, sure, I'm glad it's fine.
Yeah.
But,
So Dylan calls David out in the showers that night for being Jewish in front of everybody, and they have a naked shower fight.
They must have had to do some fancy camera work to keep these
songs
out of the screen.
I was like, whoa, didn't see that coming.
No, yeah, there was a lot of wrestling.
A lot of wrestling.
And I read that they ran out of hot water during the scene, so most of it's like cold water that they're doing this like for a long time. This went on too.
I was in the pool. I was in the pool. That's why they didn't have to.
Yeah. They did it on purpose.
Everybody was freezing. Yeah, because that was an intense scene.
Yeah.
So David is now being shunned for being Jewish by the other players,
and you can see like a lot of them are like they don't want to shun him, but they know they must.
And Matt Damon's a great big bully and like the head of this team before David came on.
Yeah,
so they're
like, you better act this way.
Don't be like be loyal to you know, to your school and your team and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, Connor's accused of cheating on the French test. This is French assignment, despite signing the honor code, but rebuffs David for attempting to comfort him. Is that his roommate? Yeah. No,
I don't know who's who. But so the kid's accused of cheating, and then David's like, "Don't worry about it." Yeah. He's like, "Don't look at you."
Yeah. He's like all pissy about it. Yeah.
He is on your side.
I know. He's trying to like make you feel better. Like, yeah, but they're still shunning him.
I know.
So the football players are now hassling David at his job as the cafeteria wait staff because they're like, it's like a full, like it's not like a cafeteria where you get your food and like you go sit down. Like it's like table service, like family, and like it's like family style. So these boys are as waiters bringing out the stuff, and they're giving him a hard time. That's what his job is on his scholarship. Someone puts a Nazi swastika on a sign telling David to go home in his dorm room.
That was over the line.
Yes.
Shunning is one thing.
This was kind of all over the line, but that was really...
It was all that.
Yeah. David challenges whoever did it to fight him, and no one shows up. Like he said, he's going to wait outside for them. And it's pouring rain, and he's outside standing there.
I thought he was going to have
his
MTV then.
Yeah, I thought he was too. I thought it was going to be McGovern type 2 or part 2. So David goes to see Sally at swim practice, and Sally ends things with him, and David's devastated because he's Jewish, and she didn't know. And she's angry that he didn't tell her.
Yeah, it's like, well, couldn't really.
Yeah.
And this is exactly why.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like,
You're seeing the repercussions.
What's this kid supposed to do? This is, what, a 17-year-old kid, probably, maybe 18?
Yeah.
Everyone's cramming for tests. I put maybe the finals. Like, it's not really clear.
I think because it
sounds like it's end semester. Yeah. And Dylan takes his roommate's paper, notes something. Like I put like question mark. It wasn't clear what he took, but he took something. And
oh yeah.
I said so. It's implied that there's late night cheating. And the next day, Dylan has test answers written on a small paper in his hand, and drops it, handing in his paper. And the teacher finds the answers that he had written down on this paper, but he didn't know who dropped it.
It's like, you couldn't compare the handwriting here.
That's true. I didn't think I'm like, well, what are they supposed to do here? But yeah, you're right. That there's going to be a handwriting match. The teacher will fail the whole class if the cheater does not come forward.
Which I don't approve of that. Maybe a retest.
Yeah, but I don't know because but like at the same time they're trying to prep them for like Ivy League school.
Yeah,
so
somebody's got to come forward. You signed the honor code.
The honor code, which the first time I had an honor code was in college. I don't know about you. Did you guys have an honor code?
Probably. I don't
We
know.
had to sign it before every test and every.
Oh, we didn't before every test.
Oh yeah, we had to sign it every test. It was like a
private school, state
Yeah,
school.
I was just gonna say that must be the.
I know, like whatever. You're here. Do your best.
So David confronts Dylan on cheating because I think he saw him drop
the card,
paper,
do something with the card at first, and then he dropped it too.
Says he will turn him in, even if he is in trouble too for not reporting it, because that's what he said. He's like, well, you can't. You're gonna get in trouble too because you didn't report it right away, and blah blah blah. Yeah, he's like being a real jerk about it. Dylan tells the group that he saw David cheat and reverses what happened. Like, he says that he saw him drop the card. I know.
When I heard him say, I was like, what?
I was like, that little weasel, I'm going to punch him. Yeah, I was getting heated too watching that. The group can't figure out if David or Dylan lied or cheated.
Yeah, they're trying to they're sitting in this conference table.
They put them in a council. Yeah. Say to figure it out.
Yeah, you guys have to decide yourselves what's going to happen here.
And so David's
teenagers.
I know, and David's going against this whole team who now semi hate his guts because it's it's not fair.
And he's trying to prove why.
Right.
It doesn't make sense that it's him.
Yeah. So they vote through secret ballots as Reese and Connor defend David, but the majority of the players side with Dylan, and David expected to turn himself in. Mm-hmm. So he's ready to go turn himself in so that he doesn't have to go through all that with them reporting him.
Yeah, and then it's also they don't get blamed.
Right. So David goes to the headmaster to confess, and the history teacher defends him as Dylan's roommates admits to seeing Dylan cheat. And even though both saw Dylan cheat, are absolved of betraying the honor code, and Dylan is expelled.
So the roommate did the right thing and came forward and said.
But I put rest in peace to the roommate because he's going against all the guys. You know, that's gonna be a whole heap of trouble for him too. Although if Dylan's out of the picture. Yeah, maybe not true. Because he's kind of the linchpin for all of this.
Because they can clearly see that Dylan is the marionette,
the
puppeteer here for these marionettes. So.
Yep. So David says the school is using him for football, and he'll use them to get into Harvard. Mm-hmm. I said that's good. That's how
you will.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a stepping stone.
Yes. Dylan throws one last Jewish slur, and David walks off through campus as the movie ends. Because Dylan's leaving in his car, and they have one little...
he got expelled.
He got expelled.
He's gone.
But he's gonna just bounce back. So nobody really cares. He's got a poop ton of other
That's the thing, though.
Options.
He's still failing in the sense that he's not gonna end up where he wanted to be with where his family wanted him to be. So that's a failure in itself.
But his moral compass is so off. Out of whack,
right? But they've got the money where he's going to be somewhere.
He's going to go to some other prep school and finish the year, and
then go to a good college and still be very successful.
He probably will still get into whatever school he wanted. Maybe
I don't know when this is on your record though. You see,
that's true.
You got expelled.
But when you have that kind of money and that kind of power, you could probably wipe it out. Well, you could probably get that erased.
Yeah.
So, my only fact, that was the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And my only facts that I only have a couple. But the big actors in this movie, there were so many big actors in this movie. There was obviously Brendan Fraser, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck?
Oh, the Matt Damon! If you're mid-90s SNL Mango. Then we can't say Ben Affleck or Matt Damon without saying Ben Affleck. Oh, the Matt Damon. Chris O'Donnell, who I think was Brendan Fraser's roommate in this. And then Anthony Rapp, who was in Rent.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also the friend in Adventures in Babysitting.
Yes.
The redhead, yeah. Okay, so the only actual Jewish actor in this movie had only a minor role, and it was Rip Van Pelt. Oh, Rip, who was the one who stood up for... he was for David.
Because it was Dylan's roommate.
And it was Dylan's roommate,
who saw the
Rip
cheating.
Van Pelt, yeah. So he was the only actual Jewish actor in this entire movie.
We had to help him out, even though he wasn't really a Jew in the movie.
And this was inspired by Dick Wolf's real life experiences and written by Dick Wolf, who is behind the Law and Order franchise. Dun dun. Dun dun. Yeah, so but yeah, he's the one who who wrote the movie, and it was it was like his experience in school.
Yeah. It was a very good movie.
It was really good.
It was awards. Did you know?
It should have. I don't think it picked up much. It was in a heavy, like, don't forget back then that's a heavy market to be. All the movies were coming out then. Yeah. But it's really good. But it's heavy and it's dark.
Beautifully acted. Like they all fit their roles really well.
They all did really well. And for being so young, like this is a lot of their like beginning careers.
Yeah. And they hit it out.
I think Anthony Rapp was probably the only one who was like in Adventures with Babysitting previously and had done like other like things that were kind of on the books.
Yes. As far as the squirrel, if we had watched this as children, which who knows if we did or not, it would have been so high because I would have no idea what was happening.
I would have had no idea, and I would have been so uncomfortable, like with the shower scene.
There's a lot of shower scenes too, and I would have been the whole time. But watching as an adult, no squirrels. Like it was very captivating.
Oh, it was really good. And it sucks you in. And like the beginning, like if we only watch the beginning credits, I was very interested in that too because I'm familiar with all those places.
It was so cool to see like your town, like I know where they are.
Like all our surrounding towns.
Yeah. And it was set in the 50s, so like they made it look older, which was cool.
A lot of it does look older.
It does, yeah. Like, but like they put like old vehicles on the street,
right?
And stuff. So like that was cool to see.
Our town that was in it, where we actually live, like it was before it was like some of the things were ripped out. Like that old gas station was still there.
Yeah, so like it had that old timey feel.
Yeah, so like it was kind of neat to see the.
It was a good location. Like the whoever chose the location did a really good job.
It might have been Dick Wolf. I don't know, but yeah.
Although I feel like you could have found something in Scranton if you're gonna make this Scranton.
And I didn't put it, but like I think they did. I think the only thing filmed in Scranton was like the bus scene.
Yeah, yes.
I think that was it. I didn't write it down, but I think I remember reading that.
Pennsylvania, what a great state!
Absolutely, it is a great state. But it was super super neat to see all that stuff in there and represented, and then like it's fun to see that like there's still places that aren't like completely changed over the years. Like I know like if you go to Bethlehem where a bunch of like the steel scenes in the beginning were filmed, like a lot of that looks the same.
Yeah, it does.
When you get on that side of town, so, a lot's modernized, but on certain areas you can still find old school stuff.
Highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it.
It's a good one.
And Brendan Fraser, I thought I had a shirt with this character on it, but he's not in the Renaissance, no, and he's not in my other one too, so it must have been a different thing, but so I didn't have anything specific to the movie, but sorry.
You are
I failed.
Crazy for Fraser.
Crazy for Frazee.
Crazy for Frazee.
But if now I wouldn't say there's any squirrels for this movie.
No,
it was very interesting.
You're in the right mood for like a drama.
Yeah,
like, this is good.
A drama, like a heavy hitter. Yep, that's the one to watch. Yeah. So we thank you for joining us again. Do you have anything that you wanted to add?
Nothing else.
I kind of skimmed over it, but there wasn't a lot for
There's
this.
There's not fun facts about such a heavy movie.
It's not a fun movie, but but everybody did a really good job in their roles.
It was great.
And again, we thank you for joining us. If you look below in our description for this video, you'll see our links to our social media accounts. Please like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Sisters and Ebert, and also our YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, all the things. Are you familiar with this movie? Have you seen it?
Did you watch it as a child?
When you were like, like when it first came out, or are you like us and thought you saw it and just watched it later? And we're like, oh, I don't think I have. We'd love to hear from you though. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week at the movies.